up? Lauren Golden here from Free Mama TV. I'm back with another episode of this month's series. We're talking about different VA niches, things that you can specialize in to make money from home or anywhere in the world. My friend Shelby's in San Diego right now, and I'm like this jealous. This is the best of 2022. So if you are finding this video, it is the right time for you to get in right now. We got a crazy world out there. We're coming off like COVID fatigue and the great resignation. We got inflation all around us. Like we got to learn how to make our own money. And I'm really excited to explore today's topic with Shelby, because in my opinion, when it comes to freelancing, anytime you are contributing to your clients' revenue directly, like in the form of helping them make money, you will always be able to charge more. So this is a very lucrative skill set that we're going to dive into today. So we're talking all about Facebook ads. Shelby, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, give some context, like what got you into the Facebook ads world and what do you love about it? Like, why do you think this is a great place for people to build an online career?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Shelby Fowler -Moss now. I'm newly married, but
It's like amazing. I mean, you guys, she does not make me look so not cool right now.
you are so cool still. Okay. I started actually doing marketing and all of the digital marketing things as we do. If we, I feel like my story is very similar to many freelancers that start out where I'm like, I don't know what I should do. So I did everything. And then I was trying to figure out like what I liked doing. And for me, I thought providing all the services meant that I would make more money. And that couldn't have been less true. So I actually was doing all the marketing things, right? Advertising included in that. And then as I started getting really good at advertising and building my client base, I realized that I could hone in on that, start mastering it, and I could make a lot more money. In addition to that, I could work significantly less. Before I really niched down, I was doing a lot of social media management. And I was to a point in my business when I was like, gosh, I need to grow. I'm making a couple $1,000s a month and I really want to make more money, but I just don't have time to get more clients. And I felt like I was working around the clock and I was bringing on team members that I couldn't really afford. And so allowing myself to shift to ads management allowed me to raise my prices significantly and work significantly less. So that's kind of how I started. And then for the last 2 years, I've also been training other ads managers to do what I did. So I went from literally struggling social media manager, making like maybe $2,000 a month to making $30,000, $40,000 a month consistently up to $70,000, $80,000 a month. So that has really been my journey. And I feel like if I can do it, you can absolutely do it too.
Yeah. And both Shelby and I are here because we want to help you do it faster.
Easier. And faster.
Yeah, easier, faster. Yeah. I had kind of a ping-pongy story to get where I am today too. And I'm grateful. And you might be watching this and you're like, I've already been a ping pong, but like we take all of that knowledge with us. And as long as we like learn from it and continue to like hone, like you said, we'll get to a better place. You said something I just want to like have highlighted across the screen is like that it was easier to master one thing than a lot of things. A lot of people come into this world, myself included. Every now and again, our intuition's wrong. Our intuition tells us when we get started as freelancers that I got to cast a wide net. If I cast a wide net, like I'll get more fish, but it's just not true in this online space. So I love that. It's easier to master one thing, pick one thing, get really, really good at it, than try to go become like the best at everything. That takes a lot of time. You kind of had this marketing background. Maybe the people watching do, maybe they don't have an interest in social media, whatever, but what does someone actually need to know about Facebook ads to get involved? Like, what are we talking about here? What makes Facebook ads different from like Google ads? What kind of like, what are we actually talking about? Break it down for maybe like the newbie who's like this, I've heard of this, but I'm not really sure what all it entails like as a freelancer.
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to start with this. Like advertising has been around since the beginning of time, since two businesses competed for the same business in the same area. They have found advertising during gladiator times on the side of rock and it was
oh my gosh,
promoting
I didn't know
gladiator
that.
games.
That is so cool.
they have found like there would be like little rock, like kind of like old time billboards, essentially. People would like carve their business name on the side of it and with an arrow, right? Advertising has been around forever. So it's not a new concept. And I think a lot of times, if you're just starting out, it's like, it seems like this like different language, but when we kind of roll it back and think of like, this is actually tried and true. This is an industry that's been around since the beginning of time. Think about newspapers, advertising used to be in newspapers, television. Remember back in the day before TiVo and DVR and streaming everything, right? When Netflix had to mail you copies of DVDs, remember that? People watched live TV all the time. This is a quick story, really quick. We're staying at an Airbnb because we're on vacation right now, which is also a really cool thing that I can work from anywhere. But my daughter's 4 years old, my youngest, and we're watching TV and the commercials come on because they don't have live streaming here for some reason. And she was like, Mom, where's the fast forward button? And I was like, oh, they don't have that here. You have to watch this is back in the day.
Back in my day. I think I just posted recently something really similar, Shelby, on social media. I forget what the original topic was, maybe something related to like Blockbuster, but I had this like flashback to when my older sister and I used to race to the kitchen to get snacks and like go to the bathroom and make it back before the commercials were over. And then like whoever got back first got like the good spot on the couch. These are the good old days. But you're so right. Like we make things so hard, and technology can be intimidating when you're new, but in its simplest form, like this is another form of advertising where a business is paying money to have their brand, message, or product seen by other people. Like that's really what we're talking about.
Exactly. And the only thing that's changed over all these years is just where the attention goes, right? People stop reading newspapers. People are watching live television more, right? People are not listening to the radio anymore. Radio ads. You guys remember those? People are consuming social media. I think it's 68% of all people on the planet have social media, like some form of social media. So if you think like, if people are spending all their time on social media, then businesses are going to want to advertise there, right? Because the attention is there and businesses want to go where that attention is. And right now, Facebook is still a dominating force. They own Instagram, right? Like I teach Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok ads because I think those are honestly some of the best advertising that you can run for businesses. Google ads are great specifically for local based businesses, but if you want to provide this as a service, I'm telling you, you can charge a lot more if you really focus on Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok.
That's cool. So let's talk about what actually goes into an ad. And you can use the big advertising analogy, or if you want to get specific now, because technology did change the game from the standpoint of like, when I drive downtown here in Kansas City, I see big billboards. And back in the day, when I worked at the Kansas City Star, like that, you can't always measure that stuff. You don't know how many people are seeing it, but we have metrics now and these really cool tools that you can get to use and leverage as a Facebook ads manager, which is really cool. But what are the components of advertising? As a Facebook ads manager, what are you responsible for kind of collecting or extracting from your client? And I know it's kind of different depending on how you set up your business, who's responsible for what, but what are all those components? Can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are running ads for a client, you are going to be responsible for number one, the strategy. And a big part of this, and I think we kind of talked about this in the beginning, it's like the niching down is very important. Even if you are going to provide this as a service, you need to decide who you really want to work with, because that's going to make your job easier. And then you can really start to master how those type of businesses run and what their business metrics should look like. Like salons are going to be vastly different than a mindset coach's business metrics, right? The way their business is set up and run and all of those things. Strategy is number one, like what kind of ad strategy is going to yield them the best results, right? So if you have like a brain that like you're trying to always figure something out and you kind of you're creative and you like to solve problems, this is a really great career path for you. The second thing is going to be ad creative, meaning combining the written portion of your ad and the visual, the video or the graphic. That's very important because like, let's talk about that on a real life scale here. When you go on to Instagram and you're in scroll mode, right? And you're looking at posts, an ad is going to be in that news feed. You want it to stop the scroll. You want to look at it and be like, what is that? Right? And read the ad. So your ads have to be bold and they have to capture attention. They have to be scroll stopping. So that's really important. Your job is to make sure that their ad creative is performing really well and in alignment with their ad strategy. And then you're going to set the ad up. Okay. So inside of their back end of Ads Manager, you're going to make sure it's all set up. You're going to make sure that they're targeting the right people, right? I like to use this really crazy example here, and I'm going to say it even though it's YouTube and this lives forever, but it's like, you don't want to be walking into a bar full of men and being like, I have tampons for sale. You want one? Do you want one? No, are you sure? Right? They'd be like, you're in the wrong place. This is not for us. You want to be targeting the right people, your client's ideal client, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just wasting their money. I mean, because you can do that, but none of those men are probably going to raise their hand and be like, I could use what, right? So that is really important to consider the audience because Facebook will spend your money, but you'll only get the result you want if you consider the audience you're in front of.
Exactly, right? And it's a funny example, but you'll probably never forget it. You want to make sure that the right people are seeing it because all the other stuff doesn't matter. You can have the best graphic in the world, the best video in the world, but if the right people aren't going to see it, it doesn't matter, right? Targeting is so crucial. Also, it matters significantly as you start working with more advanced entrepreneurs who have a very specific type of ideal client. For instance, like they want to work with somebody that is at that 6-figure level in their business and that's their ideal client. You want to make sure that you are targeting that person so you're getting them really good quality leads or really good quality customers. So that's kind of the other secret piece. And I'm just kind of giving you the basics, the overall, so that you understand it. The last part of it is exactly what you mentioned at the start of this, which is that we get to see metrics now, right? Back in the day, you weren't able to see how many people, slowed down to look at the billboard. You can't really see how many people saw the newspaper ad, right? You can see how many people got the newspaper, but not necessarily looked at it. We have very clear data now. You can look back inside of Ads Manager and see how many times your ad got clicked on, how your ad creative is doing. You have real numbers, and all of those numbers, they're very overwhelming to a beginner, but I don't want you to freak out about that. There's ways to learn it, but all those numbers tell you a story, and you're going to create a story when you look at those numbers so you can see, okay, this number and this number tell me that the ad creative is not performing as well as we want it to, so we're going to switch that out. Or, you know what, this is telling me that I need to switch out the targeting. Maybe my audience isn't big enough. It tells you a story, and it should tell you exactly what is going right and wrong so you can make those adjustments and your clients can get really good results.
What makes a good Facebook ads manager?
I've trained a lot of ads managers. I feel like the people that are the most successful at it are creative. They are they're very strategic. Like they are interested in strategy and marketing in general. If you don't have an interest in marketing, I don't think it's the right fit for you, right? If you don't know how to use a computer, again, this is advertising is like, it's more advanced marketing. So if you already have marketing experience and you're interested in how things work and the strategy behind things, advertising is going to probably be a really good fit for you. I feel like creative, strategic, and I think you have to like numbers to a point. You have to be able to look at numbers and be kind of nerding out on it and see, it has to excite you a little bit because that is a part of your job. The creative part is really important though, because if you're not creative, you don't like copywriting, you don't like graphic design, you're going to struggle at it. I teach people how to outsource those things, but even with that, you still need to look at what you're getting and be able to tell what is good copy, what is good graphic design. So our best ads managers that I've seen have been graphic designers, copywriters, formerly social media managers. We have someone who was in advertising sales before. She's really good at it. I think she has a really good overall concept of it. I think those make really good ads managers.
Yeah, it's super results driven. Like in my experience, just running the Free Mama, it's it's not a set it and forget it kind of job. Like you have to be someone who likes to outperform yourself. Like it's, I think almost like a little bit of like competition and that like results driven. And like you said, you're taking the data, not just for fun, but then to like solve a problem. Like, how do I tweak this? How do I tweak that? So that's awesome.
I say like, there's never a dull moment in ads management, because also ads manager changes all the time. These platforms change constantly, and Facebook, AKA Meta now, right? Meta likes to test different features in the back end. So your ads manager is going to look different all the time. And so if you get overwhelmed easily by that kind of stuff, and you're not somebody who, like, I don't like monotonous work. I don't like to do the same thing every day over and over and over. That's boring to me. So I love a little bit of a challenge. I like a challenge. It keeps me excited in life. So if that's you, great opportunity here. But it changes all the time.
Yeah, that's so true. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about client communication. What does it look like to be a Facebook ads manager and actually, have a client paying you and managing their expectations and boundaries and budget and kind of making sure, that they're trusting you as the strategist and the expert and not just telling you what to do? And how do you kind of talk about navigating client relationships?
Yeah, that's a big one. I teach about client boundaries all the time because I did everything the wrong way at first. And had clients calling me. We're like at Costco on Christmas Eve getting a turkey, and clients calling me, and my husband's like, what the heck? And, for what I have learned and what I teach now is like, you need to have separation of your business. Like, things can't be muddled. So what I recommend is setting up a private Slack for your business, and every client is going to have a private Slack channel, and you teach them how to have a relationship with you, right? You don't let them dictate how you work. You need to set it up so they have clear expectations and boundaries from the get. That way they know what to expect. They feel well taken care of. They're not wondering like, oh my gosh, I give this lady thousands of dollars and I haven't heard from her in forever, right? Like, because that will happen. And I promise you, when you get on calls with potential clients, you're going to hear all the horror stories of all the bad ads managers in the world. And there is more of those than there are good ones. And I think it's really about setting those boundaries. It's for your client to feel safe, but it's also for you to have a separation from your personal life and work. I make it clear to clients that in the beginning, when we have our onboarding call, I go over how I work, what hours I work. I am not available after 4 p.m. I am not available on Saturday or Sunday. You can contact me on these days. If you need to get on a quick call, I can take those calls on these days. And here's that link to schedule a call. That is how I have it set up so that they know exactly what to expect. In addition to that, I do not let them message me on Facebook, on Instagram, email me, nada. I want it all inside of Slack, because then we can scroll up and all of the conversation is in one place. What you don't want to do is be like, oh, they told me this, but then you have to go find it on whatever platform because they're talking to you on 6 platforms at a time. You want it all in one place. And if they message you on Facebook, you say, oh my gosh, great. Why don't you go ahead and put that in Slack? The benefit of that as well is that as you grow your business, because you are able to charge high price as an ads manager. In fact, I do not recommend charging less than $1,500 a month if you are just a beginner. And I don't recommend charging that forever, just until you have 2 to 3 clients, and then raise your prices to $2,000 a month and keep raising. You may want to hire on people to help you, like an assistant to do ad reporting for you or things like that. It's really cool if it's all in one place, because then if you have people under you in your team, then it's all in Slack. They can read client communication as well. You're not the middleman all the time. So I would build that now, because it's going to protect your peace of mind.
That's awesome. So for anybody who's still watching with us and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm strategic and I hate doing the same thing over and over again too. And this sounds really interesting, but I've never done it. Like, I've never been an ads manager. What are like 1 or 2 things that you would challenge someone to either do or explore to kind of get their feet wet?
Okay, so here's what I want you to start doing. I want you to start studying advertising, because as you start studying it in real life, and if it's still exciting you, then I have a free training that you can go through. Okay, but here's what I want you to do. You can type into Google Facebook ads library. In that, you can search everybody who's running ads currently, and I want you to start studying like what people are running. What are their ads looking like? You can see everybody's ads there. right? It's free. It's really cool. The other thing is when you are scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, inevitably you are going to get advertising. And I want you to start paying attention to what kind of ads you're getting and studying. What do the words on the graphic look like? If it's a video, what are they saying? I want you to start noticing patterns because that's going to really help you as an ads manager when you have a general idea of like what people are running. The other thing is commercials. In fact, we did this exercise and I have a certification program for ads managers. And in one of our calls, we spent an hour and a half going through commercials of some of the best advertisements in the world and breaking it down. And we watched the commercial together and then we all talked about like why it worked, what happened. So start looking at commercials too. Look at Nike does a really good job. Apple always does a really good job. And notice how they're positioning their product, their service, right? Notice the positioning. And then I think in addition to that, if you are interested in copywriting and graphic design already, it's a really good segue into this profession. If you need to learn a little bit more about that and what is copywriting, if you're like, I don't know what copywriting is, I don't really know what graphic design is, I would look into that before you get into ads management.
And we actually have 2 trainings this month on both of those things. We've got Carla right here on Free Mama TV talking about graphic design. We've got Abby talking about copywriting. I don't know if they've aired, but they'll look like this and you can find them right here on this channel and learn more about that. And then if you like those things and you want to put it all together with Facebook ads, I think this idea of hacking, that is not necessarily what I thought you were going to tell people to do, to go study and hack, but that is so smart because I am a marketer. Like I have a marketer's mind. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't know I had this talent kind of until I got into this world, but I am constantly like scanning my world around me and like what works and what doesn't work and why. And so it is this thing that you can develop. Like you don't have to like have a formal education in this, but that's so beautiful. I actually didn't know about Facebook ads library. I wrote that one down myself, but I know you can go to different pages and see what they're running, but I'm constantly saving things that inspire me because I'm like, ooh, that was really effective. Like maybe I can do my version of that, you know, that's awesome. So you mentioned this free training that people can sign up for. So for anybody who wants to dive into a little bit more of the crunchy stuff with you, what are those next steps so that they can keep learning?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a link. We're going to put it down in the description, but it's just fempireadsacademy.com/free mama, all one word. And there you can apply for our training. In that training, we're going to teach you like how to become a sold out ads manager, how to take that next step, how to price your services, how to structure your offer, how to, what I like to call stack your contracts so that, because many of you are service providers, I don't want you living revenue roller coaster. And I think a lot of service providers do that. I'm going to teach you exactly how to not do that so that you can look at your bank or your kind of month or next couple months and you know exactly how much money is coming into your account. And you do that by stacking contracts. So I'm going to teach you how to do that in this training. It's a lot meatier. It's about 90 minutes, but it's super interactive. So you can apply by going to the description and sign up.
Yay! Oh my gosh. I loved this so much. I have run my own ads for years. And so I am probably not the expert that you are, but I know a thing or two. And so it's always super fun when I can have a conversation with somebody about something I know and I still learned some new stuff. So I'm off to Facebook ads library right now after we're done recording this to go stalk some people. If you are a giant nerd like I am, or a strategist like Shelby, make sure you guys check out that link down below so you can go hop on that training with her and learn even more. But Shelby, thank you so much for teaching us about kind of the need to know world of Facebook ads management. This was amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.